We'll have a look at one of the strongest economies in this part of the world. It's tourism sector that continues to bounce back. And of course, to talk with our kababayan, some of whom have worked here for so many years. Let's also discover some ideas and tips from the experts and find out how we can adapt these to the Philippines to keep businesses ready and open for business.
This program.
Super Friends, magingay! Ito po sa Eman Calo ng Davao Occidental Tigers. Kayo po ay nanonood ng Pilipinas Super League. Ito ang liga ko.
A routine patrol with 4 bots and chases. He's later awoke in the strangest of places. Earth was their home, now and in addition, Optimus Prime gave them this mission.
Join the Rescue Bots on their missions this December. Save the island of Griffin Rock from the threats of an ultra-large iceberg.
Rescue bots, roll to the rescue.
Roll to the rescue. A hero.
Save Cody from the very real dangers of a virtual reality game.
Game on.
Help Cody figure out why the town is acting strangely.
Hang on!
Figure out how to stop the dangerous forest fire.
We made quite a splash.
And investigate the mystery behind the main ridge monster.
Rescue bots, power up and energize.
Rescue Bots assemble at Net 25 every Saturday at 10:30 a.m.
Panalo tayo pag together, walang talo pag together. Let's get together sa Net 25.
Dapat parusahan kayong pareho ng ama mo para sa mga ginawa niyong krimen.
Ang sandali ng tagumpay.
Kapag hindi niya hinayaan si Hadyo nang pumalis sa posisyon niya, ilalabas ko ang totoo.
Ang lalong magpapainit sa apoy ng inggit at galit.
Hindi naman patas kung si Papa lang ang mapaparusahan. Si Lolo talagang...
Dubai is one of the 7 emirates of the United Arab Emirates, and the capital is Abu Dhabi. From a vast desert, Dubai has transformed itself into a city dotted with skyscrapers, modern structures, and state-of-the-art facilities that make people's lives convenient and efficient. Its most famous structure, the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, is a testament to that. At tulad nga ng tayog ng Burj Khalifa, marami din tayong mga kababayan, maraming mga Pilipino ang nangarap at ang kanilang mga pangarap ay natupad. Open for Business is here at the Chicco store inside the Dubai Mall, and we will be meeting the area manager of Chicco. She's been here in Dubai for almost more than 2 decades already. We'll ask her about her experience working here in Dubai. Hi, Miss Liza. How are
Hello
you?
po.
Kumusta?
Okay naman
Alam
po.
mo, yung katulad nga nung introduction ko, parang ang tagal mo na rin dito.
Yeah.
Pero noong una kong punta dito, I think that was how many years ago? 5 years? Or
I think it's more than 5 years.
Yes. Tapos noon ay wala pang pandemic.
Yes.
Anong nangyari sa inyo nung pandemic?
Pandemic, of course, we have a lot of struggle during pandemic. We stopped working in a month. Malls are totally closed during that month, like the whole month. And then after that, when we go back to business, of course, you don't expect the same as we were. Start uli kami from the beginning, calling our customers to come to our stores. Yeah, it's like start all over again after the pandemic and start online business.
Now, Liza, there were a lot of discussions about the impact of COVID to businesses. So, sa inyo ba, paano ba yung naging impact nito pagdating sa mga Pilipino? Marami ba noon na mga umuwi din ng mga Pinoy?
Yeah. Maraming nawalan ng trabaho, of course. Actually, sa amin lang dito, almost half of the manpower.
Wow,
yes,
dami.
half of the manpower. And then, pero for now, we start again, all over again. We hired some additional staff support after the pandemic. And then now, mas okay na yung business.
When you say you hired, yung iba doon na pinauwi, end of contract na talaga yun? Wala nang balikan yun?
Wala na talaga. But some of them, not in our brand, because we are group of companies, some of them, they rehire them.
Wow.
Yes.
You said it's business is getting better.
Yeah.
Paano mo nasabi na business is getting better?
Actually, ang magandang impact kasi ng sa amin, may impact din na maganda yung naging pandemic eh. We learned a lot of some other things, it's like online business. We don't have like that
Before the
pandemic. Pero while on that time, nung pandemic, you need to think how you will manage to pursue with the business. Kasi hindi mo naman siya pwedeng pabayaan na lang na walang papasok na income. Sumasahod kami. At the same time, nagre-rent kami ng store. Maski nakasara siya, kumbaga, we need to have income to para ma-provide yung brand. Nag-start kami sa online selling, and then it works. Which is until now we keep doing na.
So parang, Miss Liza, it's a combination of both the physical store,
Yes.
diba, and online.
Yes.
Was it, the online business, is it not present before the pandemic, or parang during the pandemic lang talagang naisipan nyo, we really had, and I know that this is a group of companies, and the Chicco brand is recognized also all over the world.
Yes.
What is the history of Chicco so far?
Chicco is like has been 60 years in the industry. Wow. Actually, yeah. It's original from Italy, and the headquarters actually is located in Como. Yes. And
pero yung online component
online component, actually, the whole Chicco, when we talk about the Chicco, it's like they have, but because this is it depends on the region.
I see.
Yes, but in Dubai, especially in UAE, we just start this last pandemic.
How do you see the difference between the physical, like say, physical touching of the
Yes,
fabric,
of course,
diba?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you compare it?
For me, it's like it's a bit different than touching and looking at the actual material. But then again, based on my experience, because I'm handling this brand for more than 12 years, so from the material, I can see what is the suitable for this country. Price-wise, you need to consider everything. What is the price suitable for this country, you should know. And what are those sizes? For example, what are the bestseller sizes? So that once you get the buying, and you can apply everything.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Dubai market, what do they like? Kasi nabanggit mo, parang they're very sensitive. Of course, parang when you buy, parang we see it as a first world country. It's one of the countries that's comparable with Hong Kong and Singapore. So how do you describe the Dubai customer?
Dubai customer, actually, ang mga tao dito mostly they are really branded. So yeah, yes, and the good thing is they really don't care about the price. You just need to get the right product for them.
What is it in a product that they're looking at?
Right product, because we know that Middle Eastern people are, most of them are Muslims. So not to be open first.
Oh.
And yes, and mostly they have the special occasion like their Eid or something like that. So you need to get those items that's suitable for this season.
What is your experience having been here as a professional? And imagine in a company where you are in charge of inventory,
Yeah.
of pricing,
Yes,
of
yes, yes.
promotions.
Yeah.
How is it working here as a professional, and how is it also dealing with other Filipinos who work for you or who work with you?
They said it shouldn't be the boss, it should be the leader always. Because, being a leader, team members will always go to the flow. That's the difference between the leader and the boss. When it comes to the workflow, actually it's easier to communicate with kapwa Filipino, of course. So, and yeah, it just depends on you on how you will handle them and how you will execute each task. Yeah.
With this development that there's growing number of Filipinos who are working here in Dubai. Parang sabi nga nila, tayo yata yung third largest
Yes.
na community. What are the areas where Filipinos work for in the industry dito? Diba sa ibang bansa, alam natin, most of them are domestic helpers.
Yeah.
Doon naman sa Singapore, there's also a lot of IT professionals or lawyers. Dito ba sa experience mo sa Dubai, ano yung
Filipino actually in Dubai, it's in everywhere. It's in everywhere. Hindi mo masabi kung saang field, pero maski saan ka pumunta kasi Filipinos there. Sa UAE especially, they love Filipino. Kasi you work more than they expect. Hindi naman porke binigay sa yung work na diyan ka titigil eh. You always want to seek for something na kung saan ka mag-grow. Mga Emiratis, they always love to work with Filipino, maski saan.
Tsaka, halimbawa, tulad
And you can trust, the Filipinos, trustworthy. Maybe not all, pero it's at least we can say 99%.
Wow, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Tsaka, halimbawa, katulad mo, when I came here, you were working here already.
Yeah,
So parang,
yeah.
can you say that, Filipinos also are more loyal? Because imagine, when I
Yes.
came here, you are already here, and you still opted to
Yes.
stay. As a
Yes.
matter of fact, di ba?
Yeah.
Even after the pandemic, when I reached out to you, you're still there.
Yes.
So, masasabi ba natin, aside from that kind of loyalty, trustworthiness, ano pa yung katangian ng Pinoy na gusto ng mga Emirati?
For example, they give you some kind of additional task. Kumbaga, what they like is like, we never say no. Kung ano yung pwede nating i-share, kung ano yung pwede nating ibigay, mostly Filipino, they will do that. When they go to any HR offices, I can say Filipino is the most
trusted or hard.
Yes.
I also noticed that, of course, there are other nationalities din na parang in your staff. Ano yung, sabihin natin, pumapangalawa sa mga Pilipino?
Mga Indians, yes. Yes. Sa atin kasi sa Asia pa rin yan eh. Mga Indians, sila yung pumapangalawa
Dahil mas nagsasalita sa English din. Ganun ba?
Yes. At saka ano din naman sila, cooperative din naman in fairness to them. It always depends on the leader. Sa work naman, sa establishment naman, you don't need to be, maski nasa posisyon ka eh. Ang aim lang naman natin dito is how you will implement rules. Na at the end of the day, ano yung naging outcome.
I know that there's also a lot of challenges as someone who is working away from your family. Ikaw,
of course.
You are lucky, I guess, and I'm proud of you because your husband is here, you're okay, or he left already. Your kids are here somehow. You stayed here. So, yun ba ay kumbaga, ano yung mga challenges nyo sa kayong mga manggagawang Pilipino, mga parang, di ba tinatawag namin kayo na parang somehow you are the heroes back there in the Philippines because you give a lot of, you send a lot of remittances. It's actually you're contributing to the Philippine economy, you know, in terms of remittances. What are those challenges? Di ba? Yun ba, kayo ba, pag nagpadala na kayo ng dolyar sa mga ano? Oo, or kulang pa ba? Parang ganun, may katapusan ba?
It's always not enough din naman. It's always not enough, you know. Kaya lang, at least it's better than nothing. Alam mo yun. So, it's, again, it depends. Kasi dito hindi rin magandang, it's not easy to live. Kasi isang country doon napakagandang country. This is my second home. Pero again, nasa sa atin pa rin kung paano natin i-weigh yung ating, when it comes to remittances, to family. At the end of the day, just make sure na when you go home, when you decide to go home for good, at least you have something to live.
Pero in your case, Miss Liza, do you still plan to go back home or do you want to go to the other countries as well and stay there? I know that we are both getting old.
Yeah.
but what parang like other Filipinos kasi 'di ba may mga projects yung government na parang may financial literacy, you know, parang investing, parang OFWs investing their money back there in the Philippines, you know, parang guiding you to somehow come up with solutions that can make you stay in the Philippines and not go back here.
The problem is, I'm not confident enough para sumubok sa atin. Kasi we tried sometimes, but the outcome is not really good. So it's like, for me, as long as this country will give me still the chance to live, I'll stay here.
I see. Wow. Thank you. That's very straightforward. But ano sa palagay mo ang dapat gawin ng government para or ng private sector para tingin mo magkaroon din ng opportunities para sa inyo?
Siguro for me, of course, financial it's just second for me para maitulong ng government. First, it's still up to us. Kung ano ba talaga, siguro magkaroon lang ng isang direction. Kung ano ba talaga yung gusto mong i-start when go back to country. If you will not work hard for that, para kumita doon sa ibibigay ng government, I don't think it's practical. Actually, what I love the most is to start with you know the gas station. Gas station na I don't know if we have already in the country. Yung gas station na, yung parang pwede kang pumunta wherever, gas tank will come to your place, kumbaga.
I see,
Yung parang, kumbaga,
parang delivery,
yes,
ganyan,
something like that. But then, again, I think there are some limited of like 3,000 liters, something like that. Something like that. Yun lang naman yung naiisip ko so far, ha? Kasi parang ngayon, lahat na almost...
I-deliver.
Yes.
Oo nga, no? Parang wala pang, parang gas on delivery, parang ganyan.
Kasi dito meron na kami. It's like the same rate in the gas station.
Anong tawag doon?
We call it CAFU. It's CAFU. But then nasa isang mobile siya. Kumbaga na isang mobile lang siya. Hindi siya malaki.
Online.
You can call them. They will come to your doorstep.
And then they deliver it na lang. They will put it either in your car or
they will put directly. Like you go to the gas station. Siguro ang masasabi ko lang about my kapwa Filipino who's working here to save more. Kasi it's easy to do something if you have savings.
My name is Michael Deo Macaraig. I've been here in Dubai for about 21 years. Yung business ko dito, basically, is MDM Global Creatives and Consultancy. We give services for migration, for student visa, for work permit. At the same time, since I started my business for events and management. So at the moment, nag-i-enjoy pa rin ako sa events.
When the pandemic came in, all the events, all the activities were practically zero. What were you doing then po?
I supposed to go home that time. But since I have a good friend who has their own business in migration, so he offered me na parang to be a consultant. I just tried actually. Then the moment na nag-training ako, the same day when I go live, I sell. Nakapagbenta ako at the same time. So meron pala akong ganun talent for sales. So nung pandemic, no income, nothing at all, nag-consultant ako at number 1 ako sa company na yon. Then when natutunan ko lahat yon, I opened my own. Actually, that is not my first time. So hindi ako nahirapan. Ang business kasi kinakailangan alam mo. Alam mo yung how to open it, how to process, alam mo lahat yon. At alam mo yung flow ng business para merong direction. The Filipino communities here are very supportive. So I am one of the member for Philippine Business Council. So sila yung nag-guide. All the entrepreneur here, binibigyan nila ng training how to handle businesses in Dubai. And not only in Dubai but specifically in the UAE. So they have the guidelines, they are giving trainings, they are like giving the chances to meet other business person. So it's a collaboration for us to be able to uplift our own business. Opening business here parang matanong kasi ako. So tinatanong ko palagi. I am very keen on how to be the best of the best. So I do research, I compare my job to others. So at least when I see that meron akong medyo somehow very weak ako doon. So it's not about copying eh. It's about they are my inspiration to do better, to be the best of the best. So yun, hindi ako masyado nahihirapan. Why? Because I do research. I always open my eyes to possibilities. I always open myself for collaboration. So I think this is the best way to be successful. Collab yourself, give your ideas, get some ideas also to apply to your business. My source of inspiration maybe because I'm doing it alone, as I am a one-man show. So basically, I trust myself. That's the best. If you trust yourself, you can do whatever you wanted to do, and you have focus. You have faith on what you're doing, and also prayers is there. Because whatever, if you have a lot of money, if you have all, but if you don't have faith and trust, you cannot do anything. Basically, doing it alone is, for me, it's much better. Why? Because I am an organized person. I have list. I have I have time management. I also know how to handle stress. This is the most important thing. You know how to handle stress. Hindi mo siya dadalhin sa trabaho mo. At the same time, if you know how to manage time, mas madali. Mas alam mo yung kulang. If you did mistake, alam mo ikaw ang nagkamali. You cannot blame anyone. So this is, for me, that's more easier for me to finish everything, because hindi naman isa na maliit o malaki ang nagagawa ko eh. Yung may mga laki ko nagagawang event alone. So that is at least alam ko lahat. It's like I organize myself properly. Basically, opening the business is not, you don't need a big capital of money. You need the talent. If you know the job, if you know the work, if you know the business, do it. Huwag kang mag-hesitate na gawin, because ito yung magli-lead sa'yo to be a successful person. So kinakailangan lang matatag ang loob, determination, at the same time, alam mo yung ginagawa mo. At kinakailangan mong pagtiwalaan ang sarili mo. Kung wala kang tiwala sa sarili mo, hindi mo magagawa yung pinaka-the best para sa business na gusto mong mangyari.
This portion is brought to you.
Hi mga ka-super fans, ito po si Bonbon Custodio mula po sa inyong Davao Occidental Tigers. Manatili po kayong nakatutok dito lang sa Pilipinas Super League. Ito ang liga ko.
Let's get together. So let's run it by.
We are here at the Philippine Consulate General in Dubai, and there's a lot of growing Filipinos who are hoping to land jobs in Dubai, having heard that it's a good place to work. Some also use Dubai as a jump-off point to go to other countries, especially domestic helpers who may be illegally recruited to work in countries with conflict like Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, and Afghanistan. We are very honored to be here at the Consulate of the Republic of the Philippines here in Dubai, and we are honored and privileged to have with us Honorable Renato Duenas, the Consulate General here at Dubai. Sir, thank you so much for accepting us, and we're very proud to have met a lot of Filipinos, and so far the Filipino community is one of the most vibrant communities here in Dubai. Can you tell us more about the Filipino community in Dubai, sir?
Yes, you're right about that. Not only are they the most vibrant, but they're actually the third largest in terms of migrant populations here in the UAE, particularly here in Dubai. So first there's the Indians, and then which they're the biggest community, and then after that would be Pakistan, and then the Philippines. We have almost about 1 million Filipinos here in the United Arab Emirates, and majority of them are here actually in Dubai. And so yes, so they're in all sectors of the economy, from the malls. I'm sure you've been to the malls here, and there are lots of in almost every shop or store or restaurant you go to, there'd be one or two or maybe a whole bunch of them working in those places. And also in hospitals, we have lots of nurses here, and then engineers. So from all, sectors really. So including hotels and in offices.
With that community, that's 1 million Filipinos, and you mentioned of the different sectors that they have been working at. I'm sure there's also a lot of challenges, that they encounter. And can you cite, what are those challenges and how, the consulate is helping them?
Yes, of course. So with that big number of Filipinos, of course, they would need some, for example, like passports and other, consular needs. So we, along with, of course, the Philippine Embassy in Abu Dhabi, we try to provide for those, requirements, provide those services to them. And also the Philippine Overseas Labor is here, and along with other government partner agencies like the DTI, they're also here to support us. So it's a whole of government approach when it comes to providing the services to our kabayans, as they are called here. We have actually quite a big staff complement here in the consulate to make sure that all the needs, consular needs particularly, of these of our kabayans are answered. And also if they, for example, need some assistance when it comes to, sometimes they find themselves in some kind of a situation. So we do provide assistance to them.
There's a lot of Filipinos who are also made their names here in Dubai, and some of them have placed the Philippines back in the global map in terms of fashion, in terms of arts, in terms of entrepreneurship. Just a while ago, we were talking with one of the restaurant owners, and then they're really showing the Philippine pride, the Pinoy pride, ingenuity, and the creativity. And some of them started during the pandemic. As Consul General, but so far, you've been in public service for so long already, but how has the pandemic changed governance?
Well, that's a lot to unpack there. But first, you talked about, of course, some of the Filipino nationals who have made a name for themselves here. You're right. There's I think 3 weeks ago, we were invited to the show of one of the biggest designers, Filipino designers here in Dubai, based here in Dubai. But he's a pretty big name, not just in the region, but getting well known as well globally. So it's really just incredible to be here. As to, of course, so there were many challenges for sure during the pandemic, and for our part, we just continue to actually provide the services. There was only about I think less than a month that we were sort of close to the public, but even that we provided emergency services. And then after that, Dubai, particularly Dubai, they opened their economy quite soon after that initial lockdown. And of course, there were challenges for workers, Filipino workers. Some of them lost their jobs, but early this year, we've heard that many of them have come back and have been asked to come back, to go back to their jobs that, so, and many also actually thrived even during the pandemic. I don't know if we're talking about the same restaurant, but there's one Filipino-owned restaurant. They started with one restaurant maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and now they have maybe as many as 10 branches all over the country. So that's a big success. And that's something we would obviously makes us proud. Us would like to think that we've been able to help them. But obviously these are just really hardworking people doing their best to thrive in this environment. And of course, Dubai is I think one of the countries or places that where they can really thrive and make have success in whatever field they're in whether it's in fashion design or in the restaurant business. So we are just happy and proud for these kabayans.
Marami din po kaming nabalitaan na mga kababayan natin na umuwi sa Pilipinas, nawalan ng trabaho, at yung iba po ay hindi na nakabalik. Pero dito po ba, nakikita niyo po ba yung trend na marami nang umaalis ulit o marami din yung nagbabalikan? And how, what is the consulate doing po to somehow assist them?
That's true. There were quite a number of Filipinos who lost their jobs. But if you look at the ratio of those who remained and were able to hold on to their jobs even during the pandemic, it's a very small number who were unfortunately lost their jobs. And like what I said earlier, there's one employer. It's a big company here, corporation, and they employ at least maybe 1,000 or 2,000 Filipinos. And during the pandemic, especially during the most difficult part, the first wave, they had to let go of maybe 500, 700. And early this year, they've been rehired. So it's really a good sign especially for those Filipinos who have come to Dubai and found good jobs here. And many are able to get back to their old jobs or maybe even find a better job. Since the pandemic. We had the expo late last year. From then on, it's, as you can see perhaps when you go to the streets, there's a lot of economic activity going on. And of course, for many of these companies, they rely on Filipinos as, to run their offices, whatever, to run shops, to provide all kinds of services. So there's, I think it's safe to say that as far as the jobs for Filipinos are concerned, there's many who are, able to actually be employed again.
What's amazing po, sir, is that in the Philippines, we're starting to take off our masks. A lot of us are also vaccinated. We're starting to go into that route. But as soon as you land here in Dubai, everybody's en masse. So somehow it's quite refreshing. It's quite invigorating also. To do business, and you see that everyone's open for business, ready to go with the day to day. But are there cases where you still monitor that increase of COVID-19 cases? And as far as the Filipino community, are there also some assistance that's being provided to them in case they have those?
Yeah, well, you're right. The UAE, one of the first few countries which reopened their economies much sooner than compared to other countries, including the Philippines. They do still have some of the measures in place, but most of for example, like wearing of masks, this actually happened, being optional or not mandatory only last month. But before that, people, they're, quite lax. If you're outdoors, it's okay
it's
to
still
remove.
optional.
Yeah. But now it's you hardly see anyone. Because people are.
And we noticed, parang kami lang yung nakamask.
That's true. And because people are confident that the host government has actually, done quite a good job in terms of handling the pandemic. Their strategy was to mitigate the effects, so not to totally shut down, the economy or business or schools. But so it's more really just really fast action because, for example, maybe during the height of the Omicron cases, they did make several. They make adjustments from time to time, and for the last 3-4 months, the cases are really stable. I mean, and small number compared to before. The government, their campaign was for people to become, or the nationals here, whether they're residents or locals, to be more responsible. And people, for a large part, including the Filipinos, of course, were very responsible when it comes to wearing masks, social distancing. But now, through everyone's cooperation, I mean, we're almost, it's almost like the pandemic is behind us. A large part of that has to do with the vaccination. They had this country had the fastest rollout. I mean, as early last year, they had almost like 95%, and now it's 99+% vaccination rate.
It's the same in the Philippines, where they have you get 2 shots.
Yes. They had 2 shots plus booster, and it's ongoing, the campaign. But now if you're tourist, they don't actually require you to be vaccinated, so they're quite. There's no testing required either if you're positive or negative. So they're very, how shall we put it, quite open, because they're quite confident of the infrastructure they have when it comes to dealing with this with the pandemic.
With this development, are you expecting more businesses to open? Because for example, with the Filipino community, one of the entrepreneurs that we are interviewed, their thought of putting up businesses is there because they saw, of course, the opportunity for Filipino businessmen to open up here in Dubai. Is it, and then I asked them, is it easy or is it affordable doing business in Dubai? And then, of course, the answer is no. It's quite expensive. But here are Filipinos who are very excited diba, to set up their own. They pursue their passion. Yes. So, How easy nga po ba, di ba, dun sa Pilipinas, when you talk of yun, yung ginawa natin, yung ease of doing business, di ba? We even had to create a law, somehow to streamline the many operations from, let's say, 100 down to specific, just a number. But here, how do you find the government, the UAE, in terms of supporting foreigners in setting up their business?
One of the strategies of this government, particularly Dubai, has been actually to attract foreign investments. That's how Dubai was built, basically, with all these, whether big or small companies, they're here. As to how easy or difficult, I think they have, there's so much, the host government is so much into digitizing and everything. They're making a lot of innovations when it comes to providing services, including setting up of businesses. And I think last year, or early this year, there's this change in their law that for some businesses, they can be owned by a foreigner 100%. It can be owned 100% by a foreigner. But, I think for a lot of businesses, there are still some business activities where you need majority ownership by a local, but for a lot now, this is rather new development. So obviously, not just Filipinos, but everyone, all other foreigners would welcome this and find this, another opportunity to, for example, if they're really keen on setting up business. I actually was just talking to one such Filipino investor. It's perhaps not that cheap because, Dubai, it's quite competitive market. So an office space or, a restaurant space would cost you money. But it depends, of course, on the location or whatever. But it's, I guess, if one is really, keen on setting up a business, whether, if they can start small or whatever, I'm sure they'll know that, as they have seen, and some have already become a success.
Hi, Superfans. This is of Davao Occidental Tigers. For more basketball action, always tune in to Filipino Super League. Ito ang liga ko.
Let's get together. Sunday 25.
Open for Business is back, and with me is an icon that needs no introduction, Mr. Michael Cinco. How are you, Michael?
Hello, I'm very good.
You recently was awarded with a Goosey Peace Prize. How does it feel to be among the dignitaries lining up with them and being awarded with that such prestigious award?
I am super honored and humbled, to be with the distinguished laureates from all over the world. I think it's a great honor for me, and I was the only Filipino awarded by the Goosey Peace Prize, so I'm very happy.
There are other notable dignitaries, and there was that Goosey Peace Prize is something that is given to not only Filipinos but other nationalities all over the world.
Actually, they also give the award to one of the biggest companies in Italy. Form Italia, the owner is David Averi. He was one of the recipients also. And I was shocked to see him there. And also the mayor of Lithuania. which is, I think he's going to run for president next year. So he was also one of the recipients of the award.
Here in the Philippines, Michael, also in Dubai, because when the Open for Business team is there, when we were introducing people, customers, people really love brands. People love fashion, and people want to be identified with specific brands. And for us Filipinos, here we are looking for the Michael Cinco brand. How do you feel that the name, the brand Michael Cinco is now associated with international brands and Hollywood stars, big stars, celebrities, those in the high society, like my friend Pat P, is now looking for the brand Michael Cinco being elevated into high fashion?
Yeah, of course, I work hard for it. It's not easy. I struggled a lot, and I sacrificed, and I'm just very happy that I maintained my brand to be relevant in the present situation.
There are two follow-up questions, Michael, on that. The first one you said about hardships and struggles. There's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of entrepreneurs also who are watching Open for Business. What are those hardships and struggles that you went through before you became the Michael Cinco that we know?
Of course, because I established my brand in Dubai, so it's very hard to make a name in a foreign country. And also, I struggled a lot when it comes to business, because I have to build and I have to look for investors to support my brand. So especially during the pandemic, we struggled a lot also, because fashion is one of the businesses that has been affected by the pandemic, because it needs a lot of spending. People shop, and then those time it's not one of the priorities, especially even now when the pandemic is not just over, but it's a little bit, we're okay, the world is fine, but still it's not the priorities.
You also mentioned about the pandemic. A lot of course, tama po kayo. Sinabi nyo talagang fashion ang apektado sobra, lalo na pati yung sa retail industry. Pero yung iba po nating mga negosyante na nakakausap, they pivoted immediately. Some of them went online, some of them went to deliveries. Kayo po ba bilang entrepreneur, bilang businessman, ano po ang ginawa ninyo nung pandemic? I'm sure because of you have investors also, and you said you wanted to stay relevant. Ano po ang ginawa ninyo? Was there some sort of rethinking also on the business model?
Well, during the pandemic, of course, I did a lot of PPEs for all the governments and hospitals in Dubai, which is good in my business because they supported me. The government supported me, and I'm very lucky because in Dubai we are one of the cities that has opened immediately. We're in lockdown for just 3 months. All the restrictions were lifted after 3 months, so there were already parties and wedding events. So at this time, the business is doing well, but it's not the same as before the pandemic.
Ano po, Michael, yung nakita naman din nyo na pag-change ng consumer behavior after the pandemic? Because, di ba, there were different trends before the pandemic, di ba? But during the pandemic, a lot of people wanted to come up with, be safe, the priority would be the health and safety protocols. And then here comes when the economies, different economies opened, like Israel, and then here is Dubai. As a matter of fact, when we went there, no masking na. Nagulat kami, parang pag nagmamask ka doon.
All restrictions are lifted.
Yes. Pag nagmamask ka doon, ikaw pa ang pagtitinginan.
Yeah, that's true.
So, my question there is, Ano yung observation ninyo pagdating sa customer behavior? Kasi ang napapansin namin, parang wow, people want, lavish lifestyles, lavish designs, more colorful, bolder, the bigger, the better. Is that the trend that you're also initiating?
Actually, the trend now in Dubai is changing. Before, they want something like expensive dresses, but because of the pandemic, they're trying to tone down. And the prices also are trying to be low, below the average that we usually price with our custom-made clients. But I think the best thing is realize that there are so many things that you have to do aside from fashion. Like you have to, make some other businesses that are more affordable to the clients. Right now, I'm making the ready-to-wear collection. So the clients can afford more of the clothes that I do.
Wow, that's interesting. So, can you somehow discuss about price ranges? I know when people think Michael Cinco, it's huge dollars, but when you say you are now coming up with a collection that's more affordable to, especially for Filipinos, how affordable? What are the price ranges?
Because before the pandemic, the women, they spend so much money for a certain dress. They spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars and euros just for a simple wedding dress. But now, because everything has changed and we have to also, the economy is in recession, not only in Dubai but all over the world, but we're all affected. So we have to also go with the flow. And the best thing is we launch now our pret-a-porter line, which is more affordable to consumers, and we're selling it online also.
I'd like to go back to what you said, Michael, earlier, that you set up your business in Dubai. That is somehow mind-blowing because you did that first in a foreign country and not here in the Philippines. How easy is it setting up a business in Dubai? I know that in the Philippines talagang isinasabatas pa yung ease of doing business, but here is a Michael Cinco creating or establishing his business in Dubai. And based on what we also learned, it's not cheap. Getting a space or renting a space or hiring people there would be somehow expensive. How did you manage it? Why did you open in Dubai and not in the Philippines?
Dubai is a vibrant city, of course. First is there is so much potential in the market. Women, they spend so much money in fashion. And also, when I was new, I did a lot of sacrifices. You just have to prove to yourself that you are very good in what you do. Because in the beginning, there was also like a kind of racial discrimination. Because women, they don't trust the Filipino designers at the time. Like when I was new in 1997, they don't treat Filipino designers as designers, they treat them as tailors. So you just have to show not only to the consumers and to the customers, but to the whole Dubai that you can do it and you create beautiful things, and that's the time they will appreciate your work. The leader of Dubai, he has a strong vision. He wants to be the best in everything. He wants to build the biggest, the tallest, the highest. So you are motivated. Yeah, you are motivated to do the same, and at the same time, the government supports your business. Yeah, whatever your nationality, they will support you.
Working and doing business in Dubai, I see it's a friendly place and society is open and tolerant. And I think this is the main value, that the prevailing value here in Dubai, tolerance and respect.
It's good na nandito kayo kasi with your help, you can tell people that there are a growing number of Filipinos who are building their businesses.
Fashion is supposed to be borderless. You don't appreciate the the worth of a person because of his nationality.
Sabi nila, dito wala kang tapon. From puto kutsinta hanggang dulo, ikaw na yung mag-struggle mamili ngayon kung saan yung babalikan mo.